Hi, welcome to Straight Talk. As you know, we're constantly battling this opiate epidemic, and we're looking for programs and ideas to reach out to the public so that we can help more people. That's what it's about. So today on Straight Talk, we're going to focus on a model program out of Lucas County, Ohio, near Toledo, and we're going to talk to the Sheriff's Department about a major, wonderful program called D.A.R.T. And joining me to get us started is Sergeant Steve Rogers from the Lucas County Sheriff's Office. And it's amazing, you know, law enforcement has moved to the point now where they realize, I guess, we're not going to arrest our way out of it. And we're having so many wonderful programs pop up where law enforcement is getting involved in the other end,
Absolutely.
in both ends of the problem. And it sounds like that's what you guys have been doing for several years.
Yes,
so you
sir.
kind of beat everyone else to the point. Tell me about D.A.R.T.
Sure. Well, Mike, I'd like to first start off by thanking you for having us, welcoming us
It's
on the
our
show.
pleasure to have you.
On behalf of Sheriff John Tharp, thank you very much. So going into how what D.A.R.T. is, how D.A.R.T. was created, why D.A.R.T. was created. D.A.R.T., the Drug Abuse Response Team, was created by Sheriff John Tharp, who was our current sheriff in Lucas County. He created this very innovative and unique unit in July of 2014 with he created this unit based off of firsthand experiences that he was observing of individuals that were going in and out of our correction center, the Lucas County Jail, and seeing that these individuals were detoxing in our facility. They get released, and you know, within a short amount of time, they're coming right back into our system. So that's when something, you know, it clicked in Sheriff Tharp's head. It said, we're not going to, like as you said, we're not going to arrest our way out of this. So how are we going to create something new to try and break this barrier and stigma related to addiction? So Sheriff Tharp approached at the time Attorney General Mike DeWine, who is now the governor of Ohio. He spoke to him regarding his idea on how to hopefully combat the opiate epidemic that Lucas County was seeing. Governor DeWine was on board with the Sheriff Tharp's idea, and the sheriff was awarded grant money to implement this unit. The unit started out with 2 deputies and a sergeant, and at that time, the way the unit operated was they would come into the office, the sergeant would pull police reports of past overdoses that happened the previous day. Those deputies would then in turn attempt to go out into the community and make contact with these individuals and hopefully get them linked to treatment services. At the time also, there was only roughly 16 detox beds in all of Lucas County, with an estimated of, I believe it was over 10,000 individuals dealing with addiction. So the resources that we had at that time were extremely limited, but the officers did the best that they could. The success wasn't as high as we were hoping for when it initially was implemented, which is why as time went on, more officers were assigned to the unit, and our whole approach as a unit changed as well. Rather than waiting for a day or two after the overdose incident occurred, the sheriff met with several community partners, whether from the Lucas County Mental Health Board, fire chiefs from across Lucas County, along with other law enforcement officials and hospital officials, on what is a better solution to hopefully get individuals linked to treatment services at a faster rate. After several meetings took place, Sheriff Tharp changed the unit model from, as I said, going from 1 or 2 days after the incident occurred to immediately responding to the emergency rooms right after the overdose actually happened. So the way it kind of works is whenever a 911 call is placed into our Lucas County Communication Center, once that overdose is confirmed to be an opiate-related overdose by Lucas County EMS, that call is then copied over to our sheriff's dispatcher, at which time a D.A.R.T. officer is notified and they respond immediately to the hospital that they were transported to. The officer will engage the individual in the emergency room. At that time, they'll try and get them linked to treatment services. They'll offer them, you know, assistance on that route. If the officer is able to make that connection with the individual and they are able, or they do agree to go into treatment, the officer will wait until they are discharged from the hospital and they will transport them to the respective detox treatment facility that, you know, fits their needs. So today we currently have 11 officers assigned to the unit, full-time officers. We have a couple different agencies that donate part-time hours of their officers to come into the office as well. And since the implementation of D.A.R.T. up till today, we've engaged over 4,500 individuals in Lucas County dealing with an opiate-related addiction.
So you'll get them right in that ER.
Yes, sir.
And then what do you do with them? Are you then looking for treatment? Do you engage with families? And
So a lot of the times there are family, friends that are with the individual who did experience that overdose. If they are not able to talk to us at that point due to still being medically not able to talk with us at that time, the officers will engage the family or friends, talk to them about their loved one's addiction.
right.
And then they'll try and get them linked to treatment through the family route, and hopefully the individual will reach out to us, or the officer will then reach out, after a day or two, whenever that individual has been discharged from the hospital. But the main goal is the immediate response to the hospital and hopefully getting linked to treatment services right then and there.
I would imagine that if you show up in an ER after an overdose and the family's there, they're probably so glad to see you, that there's help, because they must, just what a family goes through is horrible.
Absolutely.
And they feel alone, and to see law enforcement show up and say, we're not here to arrest you, we're here to help you.
Exactly.
That's gotta be amazing.
And that's, Sheriff D.A.R.T says it best. This is community policing at its best,
Yeah.
because it truly is.
Sure.
The role of a D.A.R.T officer is a completely innovative approach in law enforcement itself. We dress and attire like I'm dressed right now. We do not wear your normal street officer's uniform. We do not transport individuals to and from their treatment in marked or unmarked vehicles. We have several relationships within Lucas County, not only from the medical aspect, but also from car dealerships in Lucas County as well, who donate several vehicles to our unit. And that allows the officer to break the embarrassment, break the stigma that the individual's already faced with, at that present time. Now they don't have to worry about being transported, in a marked police unit. So we found success through that route as well.
Sounds amazing. It just sounds great, and we're gonna keep hearing it.
Absolutely.
And I want you to stay here, because we're gonna bring some of your fellow workers up here and fill up the whole couch. We're talking right now with Sergeant Steve Rogers with the Lucas County Sheriff's D.A.R.T program, Drug Abuse Response Team. It's innovative, it's effective, and we try on Straight Talk to get the word out about the programs that are working. So stay with us. When we come back, we're going to talk to more representatives of the D.A.R.T program. So stay with us. We're coming right back.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back? Are everyday tasks getting harder and harder to do?
Did you see this? Your cousin's in the hospital from a heart attack.
Really?
Health risks associated with excess weight or obesity can be serious. But you can do something about it.
I know you're worried. I found this.
Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. Visit yourweightmatters.org, where you'll find free resources to help you take control. You can start improving your life right away. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight and health. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
I had big plans. I had my career path all planned out. While I was on a combat patrol in Baqaba, Iraq, a rocket-propelled grenade took my arm off at the shoulder. When I came home, I felt alone. My family was around me, but I couldn't talk to them about what I'd seen and what I'd done. I remember just thinking, man, the way I am right now, I don't want to live. I was discharged from the Army, and I've been working with the Wounded Warrior Project since 2007. Warriors don't have to be severely wounded to be with the Wounded Warrior Project. We do have a lot of guys that have post-traumatic stress disorder. Being able to share your story, I guess it kind of helps you wrap your mind around what did happen over there. Just because you've left the military doesn't mean your life is over. Because when these guys are coming home, I'm kind of leading and training them. Instead of for combat, I'm leading and training them to heal. If I come away with anything from Wounded Warrior Project, is them giving my life back. My name is Norby, and yes, I do suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, but I'm okay.
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're talking about a unique program in Lucas County, Ohio, by the Sheriff's Department called D.A.R.T, Drug Abuse
Response team.
Response Team. And we've got members here, and they're trying to teach us what they're doing in Lucas County that we can do anywhere in this country, because we've got to do more to deal with this opiate epidemic, and we've got to get people help. Joining our couch is Deputy Sheriff Dennis Whaley, also from Lucas County Sheriff's Office. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're having a good discussion here about D.A.R.T. You've been involved with it for a while.
About 4.5 years. I started in February of 2015, pretty much at its
So you've watched
inception.
it from the beginning.
Pretty much, yes.
What have you seen change, or what have you noticed in those years about either the epidemic or the approach that you all are taking?
Well, to refer back to what Sergeant Rogers was stating earlier about when we first started this, we had 10,000 people approximately addicted in some addiction. We had 16 detox beds, which is not a lot of beds to try to get in, because as we know, addicts say, fix me now, or we're not going to find them for a while. Now we have, in the 4.5 years I've been, we have well over 100 in our county now, detox beds. So the expansion for treatment and things like that has been wonderful.
So you've gotten more officers, more team members for D.A.R.T., and then you got more beds. That seems to be the match.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal. The treatment facilities have just opened their doors to us and to the addiction that's hit us so hard that we have to thank them. We couldn't do our job if it wasn't for the treatment facilities.
Yeah. Have you seen decreases in overdoses or decreases in the fentanyl epidemic that's out there? How do you measure? I mean, the fact that we get people into treatment is good enough for me. But I always look at the skeptics that are going to, well, are we making a difference? Are we making a difference? How do you measure that?
Oh, I measure by if I come in contact with somebody that's maybe used drugs for 10 years and I can get them somewhere to treatment, and even if they stay 30 days, that's 30 days they've been clean in 10 years. I think that's pretty successful. Now, we've had more success than that, but I feel you really can't judge success in this. I think it's just trying to get people clean and pointing them in the right direction, opening that door for them, so at least they know, even if they fall back off or choose to go back, they still have, I mean, I have people call me, I had somebody call me that I worked with a year ago that had chose to go back to using again and said, I can't do this, and they called me, it's been a year.
Right. So you've made that, when you talk about community policing, you've made that relationship
Absolutely.
that they can tap into, and they remember.
Oh, absolutely. I think it goes on the side of most police cars. It says protect and serve. I mean, we need to serve them now. We're protecting them as our job, but we need to serve the community now, and I think this is a great way to serve them.
Do you find people utilizing the service that didn't overdose, that didn't end up in a hospital, but they heard about the program, they trust the sheriff's office, and might just, like you said, might just call the office or talk to someone on the street?
Oh, absolutely. We get many calls in our office or on my personal phone, work phone that I have. Hey, I got your number from so-and-so that I had helped. So absolutely, the word of mouth is big for us.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, here, you've probably been in law enforcement how many years?
In 1 month, it'd be 28 years.
28 years. Did you ever see a time when law enforcement would go from, lock them up, enforcement, into this other side of the equation of prevention, treatment? I mean, back then, I remember.
Absolutely not, but.
You had two sides back then, and they didn't necessarily work together, and you guys made it happen.
And we talk all the time, there's just not enough jail cells to put everybody that, that uses drugs and commits crimes to, feed their habit. There's not enough jail cells.
Right. And it didn't work anyway.
No.
It did not.
Not at all.
I always say, there are people who use drugs who should be in prison, and people, in prison who should be in rehab.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have to do a better job at figuring that out. How do we know?
Absolutely.
And then have those resources. It's amazing. I mean, your sheriff was so creative and had the forethought to know to go to the governor and the lieutenant governor and say, we need funds, because you need money.
Yes.
Yes. Our sheriff is very innovative. He's very approachable. He'll talk to anybody at any time. I mean, the reason Steve was talking about how it came about was he would walk in the jail at any time of the day and night, because he wanted to talk to the people, the officers there, find out what they were doing, how things were going with them. And that's when he observed what was going on with the arrestees.
Yeah. Do you see anything happening, like in the jail you have in Lucas County, is that run by the sheriff or is it run by the state? Who runs the prison there?
The Sheriff's Department.
The sheriff?
Yep.
Now, do you have some programming in there as well?
We do. We actually have a unit in the jail, a specific unit for addicted people that come in.
So when they come out,
Yeah,
make a
we have
difference.
treatment providers that do come into our jail and offer medicated assisted treatment right then and there when individuals close to their release date, they can get the Vivitrol shot while they're incarcerated still at the Lucas County Jail. And then once they're released, they still have that continuum of care with the treatment provider.
see, that's the way it should be, you know, that we give them a chance. Because these, you know, most of these people relapse because they go back to the same old neighborhood, same old friends, nothing's different. But like you said, you give them some of that Vivitrol, which is a medication, blocks the high, gives them a chance.
And getting them hooked into a treatment facility is very important, even after detox, getting them into a sober living environment, because they're around people that understand what they're going through. We don't understand it. We don't understand the whys and what fors. And it's good to be around people that understand what they're going through, because a lot of the treatment facilities do hire people that have a length of recovery themselves. And I think those are the people that those people are going to communicate better with, and they understand what they're going through, so they can help them a lot better than I can.
Isn't it amazing to learn about addiction with your law enforcement background, to see, because, you know, I've worked, you know, with police for many, many years, and to them it was very black and white and very simple, and why don't they just stop? And you hear this from people, but to understand the disease and how sick people get, and you know, just fentanyl.
Yep.
You think about it. You know, fentanyl, a pinhead will kill you.
Yeah.
Yet we have more addicts going after it, wanting it, than not wanting
Yeah.
it.
The best education that I get is from the people that I deal with.
Yeah.
That's how I understand what's going on out there and how to deal with it.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Do you get volunteers from the community? I mean, it sounds like a really successful program. I'm assuming the public hears about it a lot. Do they ask, like, do therapists or doctors, or how can I help? What can I do to help?
So we have a lot of relationships with the medical field in Lucas County that we can lean towards. They actually work out of the unit due to some of the confidentiality information that we come
Absolutely.
across. It makes it difficult for somebody, an ordinary citizen, to come into our unit and
All right,
do
cool,
volunteer.
cool.
But
Good. We're talking with members of the D.A.R.T unit in Lucas County in Ohio. It's a model program. It works. It's being effective, and we're going to learn more about it. We're going to learn about our relationship with the schools, and it's just an exciting program to know that we've got so many people working to do something about this epidemic. So I hope you're all writing this down, pay attention. We'll give you their numbers, their website. I'm sure they'll be happy to help you out. So stay with us. We're coming right back to Straight Talk.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
We're leaving. party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're talking about the D.A.R.T program in Lucas County, Ohio, and that's near Toledo, right? You know, you said near Toledo, Ohio. It's a model program. It just really helps to get people into treatment, and that's our #1 goal now. We know we have a problem. Everyone understands it. We know that fentanyl is killing tens of thousands of people, but how do we get the people before they overdose, before they die? And how do we get them help? And joining us now on the couch, I feel like the Tonight Show, you know, we got the couch filling up here. Tammy Smith is a counselor, has been a counselor, is an advocate with the community and the schools. So tell me about how your role is with the D.A.R.T program.
So I've been with the Sheriff's Office for about 13 years and have been assigned to the D.A.R.T unit for about 4 of those years. My role is as a community advocate. So we've designed an additional piece to D.A.R.T. We recognize that it needed to actually start it a lot younger. We needed to educate, you know, in the school system with individuals that were, you know, dealing with addiction in their households. So we developed a program where we go into the school system. We do a 45-minute program inside the classroom. We like doing it in the small classroom setting versus in a presentation auditorium style because, you know, we get that interaction with those youth. You know, I get stories from the kids of, you know, my aunt, my uncle, my dad who's using, you know, we're able to deter them. So we do information on pretty much what we're seeing in the area as far as the trends of the drugs. So we not only hit on opioids, but we hit on marijuana, we hit on vaping, which is huge.
Big.
We hit on synthetic marijuana, alcohol, but pretty much all the drugs that are, you know, trending in the area. And then we also make sure that we hit on resiliency skills. You know, we practice, we, you know, reiterate to them that they're not alone. You know, making sure that they understand that they're not alone.
What grades are you in?
We start from 6th through 12th. So.
And they obviously, do you go in with a uniform or you just?
No, I'm dressed just like all of the rest of these gentlemen here.
I mean, you know, the D.A.R.T program, which was around many years ago, I always thought that the greatest value of D.A.R.T was to build a relationship between police and kids. It wasn't the drug education or the other part, was showing that relationship. But I'm sure they do, you know, you're still from the Sheriff's Office.
Right.
That's gotta.
Right. They recognize the fact that myself and my partner are actually from the Sheriff's Office. I think the other thing that's important, myself and my partner, I am a minority, and most of the school system that we are going into, Toledo Public School, is about 80% considered to be a minority of some sort.
Right.
So they're able to recognize, you know, an individual that may have come from a similar situation than you know, similar to themselves. So I'm able to talk about drugs and alcohol as well as, you know, growing up in an addiction and a family affected by addiction, and the fact that I was able to move beyond that and currently work for the Sheriff's Office.
Right. What are you hearing from the kids?
Anything and everything. We actually do surveys, so we are able to, you know, validate what we do. There's a 5-question survey that we do. One of the questions that we ask on there is in regards to whether or not you think addiction is a disease or is it a choice. And of course, when we first enter into the classroom and we first start our instruction, a majority of the youth are like, oh, it's a choice. You know, it's just weed, it's no big deal, you know, that kind of thing. But by the end of the presentation, overwhelmingly, that's changed. That thought, that perception, they have a paradigm shift to the belief that it truly is a disease. The other thing that's kind of interesting is just seeing that light click for those youth in the aspect that, again, they don't think that weed is a bad thing. They don't think that marijuana is a bad thing. They don't think that vaping is a bad thing. And by the end of the presentation, that thought process has changed. They actually see the value in, remaining healthy by not using these drugs.
Any connection with D.A.R.T and families? Because now you're in the schools.
We are.
So you're into that prevention, the early intervention. Seems like you guys are growing and taking in more of the community.
Yes, sir.
I mean, especially with these kids, they probably tell you more stories about their parents than anybody, or their brothers and sisters than anybody. Is that a goal of D.A.R.T?
No,
I mean,
absolutely. That's what's so unique about D.A.R.T is that it's not only a support system for the individual that's dealing with the addiction itself, but also the family as well. Because I know Dennis can validate that he receives phone calls, not just him, all the officers in the unit, day or night, from families looking for support, looking for advice, looking for the next step to help them along their way.
And I also run a support group meeting for families.
Good, good. Well, it's an amazing program. I love it. I appreciate you guys coming here to tell us all about it. And we want to get the word out. I think we've had your website up, phone numbers on how to do it. And so I want to thank you,
all
for being on the show.
Thank you for having
getting
us.
us going. We will talk about D.A.R.T, Lucas County. I also want to announce a very exciting news about Straight Talk. You will now be able to see all the Straight Talk episodes by going to www.ametysrecoverycenters.com and hit the button for Straight Talk. And you'll get to see all of our shows on opiates, learn as a family, and work together to help as many people as we can. So please go to that website. And I certainly want to thank our guest for being on the show. The D.A.R.T program, you'll be happy to help other people, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, great. They'll call. Sure. Thank you for being here. I'm going to thank all my guests. Thank you for watching Straight Talk, and we'll see you next time.